Ever open your door to a scam so bold it's almost performance art? I'm Daniel Carter, 42 federal agent with a knack for sniffing out liars living in a quiet corner of Willow Creek, 0 HOA, all freedom. My house, a modest ranch with a gravel drive and oak-shaded porch, is my fortress. No fines for my truck's parking angle. No busybodies measuring my grass. Picture me in my kitchen coffee mug, steaming Glock on my hip, when 3 sharp knocks, boom, 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 rattle the windows like a debt collector on steroids. This wasn't a neighbor's tap or a kid hawking cookies. This was trouble, and it wore fake badges. I've busted fraud rings, but this was comedy gold gone rogue. Homeowners Association inspection, open up. A voice barked, all faux authority. HOA, I picked this place to dodge those clipboard tyrants. No covenants, no Karens. My grip tightened on the mug. Instincts flaring Mrs. Calloway 2 doors down, once griped about my truck's bumper. But this wasn't her. This was off like a phishing email with typos. I set the mug down, its clink loud in the morning quiet, and glided to the door, avoiding the sidelight's shadow. Training 101 observe. Don't engage. Peephole. Check 2 clowns on my porch, navy polos screaming. HOA, inspector in tacky white stitching khakis, crisp badges gleaming like dollar store toys. Blondie tall, 6'1", 30s, fair skin stood rigid, mirrored sunglasses, hiding twitchy eyes. Arms crossed like a bad cop cosplay. Mustache stocky, 5'8", 40s. Olive skin puffed his chest, mustache. Bristling dark eyes daring me to resist. Those badges pure scam, shiny, flimsy. The kind you buy with fake IDs online. My porch oak leaves scattered, wasn't their stage. HOA's got no jurisdiction here, I said through the door. Voice, flat as pavement. Silence. Blondie glanced at mustache, a rookie looking for cues. Mandatory inspection. Neighborhood safety regulations. Blondie tried, too smooth, like a used car salesman. I nearly laughed. Safety. My lawn's wild, my shutters green. My choice. Mustache leaned in, voice dropping to a growl. Open the door, or we enter by HOA Security Division Authority. That's when it clicked. Petty scam to felony threat. Most folks would crack the door. Stammer. Let these frauds slither in. Not me. Federal agent. 15 years, seen worse than fake polos. Got a warrant? I asked, calm as a flatline. Silence. Mustache blinked fast. Blondie's arms tightened. We don't need one. HOA bylaws. Mustache scoffed. Weak liars always overplay their hand. I flipped the lock, swung the door wide. They froze. Polos stiff, badges glinting. I stood 5'11", lean from fieldwork tan. From runs, badge in hand. Glock visible face, unamused. Impersonating an official's a federal crime, I said, voice ice. Blondie stepped back. Porch railing, blocking him sunglasses, not hiding his wide eyes. Mustache swallowed. Adam's apple, bobbing fingers, flexing like he was weighing options. Fight or flight, they picked wrong. Where'd you get the badges? I cut in. Blondie's mouth clamped shut. Mustache shifted. Too much pause, liars tell. My hand moved. Cuffs clinking behind my back. Mustache's fingers twitched toward his waist. A gun. My Glock was out, aimed before he blinked. Don't I boomed? He froze, hand brushing a cheap pistol. Drop it. His fingers shook, gun clattering to the porch. Blondie's hands shot up, breath, shaky sunglasses slipping. They weren't scamming now. They were caught. I held aim, radioing dispatch. 2 impersonators armed. My porch. Send backup. Sirens wailed in 10 minutes, squad cars flooding my gravel drive. Mrs. Calloway peeked from her window, her dachshund yapping. Officers cuffed, Blondie whining, misunderstanding. Mustache glared silent as they were shoved into cruisers. A young cop, notepad out, grinned. You lucked out, Carter. I smirked, oak leaves crunching underfoot. They didn't. My porch was calm again. Coffee cold. These weren't HOA goons. They were robbers, preying on fear. Miss Calloway's call later confirmed it. They'd hit her last week inspecting her jewelry. My badge wasn't just a shield, it was their trap. Backup found their van nearby stuffed with stolen goods. This wasn't over. My case file was open. Those fake HOA clowns, Blondie and Mustache, thought they could waltz onto my porch with dollar store badges and rob me blind. Wrong house, wrong guy. I'm Daniel Carter, 42 federal agent. My Willow Creek ranch, a no HOA haven of gravel drives and wild grass. Their scam crashed when my Glock and cuffs came out, their tacky polos. No match for squad cars, flooding my oak-shaded yard. Mrs. Hyundai. Miss Calloway's call later spilled it. They'd inspected her jewelry last week. My porch was calm again, oaks rustling, but the case file on my kitchen table burned hot. These weren't one-off idiots. They were pros, and I was on their trail. I've cracked cartel fronts. But this scam was a sitcom, gone felonious. Blondie's whining, misunderstanding, and Mustache's glare as cops hauled them off were just the opening act. Their van, parked 2 streets over, was a gold mine. Stolen watches, cash, laptops, crammed in like a pawn shop on wheels. Mrs. Calloway, 70s wiry with a dachshund that never shuts up, had tipped me off. They took my late husband's ring. She'd said, voice shaky, her porch, all wind chimes and geraniums, didn't deserve this. Neither did Willow Creek. I sipped cold coffee, badge on my hip, and called Agent Lena Ruiz, my FBI partner Dan. You're a magnet for trouble, she laughed, voice crackling. Vans at impound prints, GPS fake IDs. These guys hit dozens. Lena, 35 sharp as a blade, was already digging. Meet me at impound. Bring coffee. My ranch's gravel crunched as I grabbed my jacket, oaks casting long shadows. Mrs. Calloway waved from her yard, her dog yapping. Find my ring, Daniel. She yelled. I nodded. Case file underarm. This was personal now. Willow Creek's impound lot was a chain-link maze of busted cars and bad decisions. Lena leaned on the scammer's van, a dented white box with HOA compliance decals. Pure irony. Prints matched 2 lowlifes, Eric Blondie Walsh and Tony Mustache Greco. She said, handing me a file. Con artists, parole violators hit 30 homes in 3 months. Jewelry, cash, electronics. I flipped through victim reports. Elderly targets, single moms, newbies, too scared to question HOA badges. My blood simmered. Mrs. Calloway's ring was just one piece. The van's back doors creaked open, reeking of cheap cologne and desperation. Stolen goods, spilled out gold chains, a kid's gaming console, even a silver menorah. Lena held up a laptop screen, cracked. Passcodes weak. HOA 123. Idiots, I smirked. Oak leaves stuck to my boots. They planned to hit 5 more houses this week, she said, pointing to a map with Willow Creek circled. My street was marked. My ranch starred, cocky, I muttered, tracing their route to a name. Mrs. Patel, 50s, single mom, 2 doors past Calloway. I knocked on Mrs. Patel's door. Her tidy bungalow, all rose bushes and kids' bikes. She opened it. Petite, olive skin, eyes wary. They came last. Tuesday, she said, voice low. Said my fence was non-compliant. Took my grandma's necklace. Her son, 10, peeked out, clutching a soccer ball. Found their card, she added, handing me a cheap business card. HOA Security Division. Eric Walsh, Blondie's alias. I pocketed it, jaw tight. We'll get it back, I promised. Her nod was small, but her eyes held fire. Back at my ranch, Lena synced the laptop's data. GPS shows a storage unit, 20 miles out, she said, screen glowing. Bet it's their stash. My phone buzzed. Mrs. Calloway frantic. Daniel, a guy's snooping my yard. Same polo. I grabbed my Glock, porch, creaking. A third guy. My oaks loomed, dark gravel still. Lena's eyes met mine. They've got a crew. I radioed dispatch case file. Open. Mrs. Patel's necklace. Calloway's ring. These weren't just thefts. They were invasions. I stood under the oak's wind chimes, faint from Calloway's porch. Blondie and Mustache were cuffed, but their scam was alive, slithering through Willow Creek. A badge wasn't just a shield. It was a blade, and their storage unit was next. Lena grinned, laptop humming, ready to bust their piggy bank. My cuffs clinked, ready for round two. Blondie and Mustache, those fake HOA goons, thought their tacky polos and toy badges could loot Willow Creek blind until they knocked on my door. I'm Daniel Carter, 42 federal agent. My ranch a no HOA sanctuary of gravel and oaks. My Glock sent them to cuffs, their van spilling stolen goods, Mrs. Calloway's ring, Mrs. Patel's necklace, a kid's console, Lena's laptop. Hack traced their GPS to a storage unit, 20 miles out, and Mrs. Calloway's frantic call about a third guy snooping her yard lit a fuse. My porch oaks loomed, wind chimes faint, but my badge was locked and loaded. This scam was a hydra, and I was hunting its heads. I've busted money launderers, but this crew's stupidity was Oscar-worthy. Lena's file on Blondie, Eric Walsh, and Mustache, Tony Greco, listed 30 hits, elderly single moms, newbies, conned by HOA inspections. Mrs. Patel's stolen necklace burned in my mind, her kid's soccer ball bouncing as she handed me their card. Lena rolled up to my ranch at dusk, her SUV crunching gravel, storage units in a sketchy lot, cameras. No guards, she said, eyes sharp. Third guy's likely their fence. My Glock was holstered, case file stuffed with victim names. Let's gut their stash, I said. The storage lot, a concrete jungle off Route 17, was all flickering lights and rusted gates. Unit 47's padlock gleamed new, out of place, among dented doors. Lena, 5 or 6, wiry tan from field ops, popped the lock with a cutter, her grin fierce. Amateurs, she muttered, rolling up the door. Inside a thief's jackpot, jewelry boxes, cash, stacks, laptops, even a gilded clock. Mrs. Calloway's ruby ring sat on a velvet tray. Mrs. Patel's necklace tangled nearby. Jackpot, I said, oak leaves from my boots, dusting the floor. Lena snapped photos tagging evidence. Enough for felony grand theft, she said. A ledger caught my eye. Names, dates, payouts. Mrs. Calloway, $2,000. Patel, $1,500. I read, jaw tight. A third name jumped out. Ricky Slick, Torres Fence, $10,000 cut. Lena's brow arched. Third guy. Slick's moving this. The ledger listed a meet, midnight, Route 17 diner. My watch read 10 p.m. We crash it, I said, cuffs clinking. Lena's laptop pinged a security cam still from the lot. Slick, lanky 30s, pale buzz cut, in a knockoff HOA polo. Loading boxes yesterday. Cocky, I muttered, picturing Mrs. Patel's wary eyes. We hit the diner, a neon-lit grease pit, oaks lining the lot. Slick slouched in a booth, polo swapped for a leather jacket, eyes darting. Lena slid into a corner booth, fake menu up, while I leaned on the counter. Badge. Hidden fee, I told the waitress. Eyes on Slick. A waitress dropped a bag by his table. Stolen watches glinted. My radio buzzed, patrols 2 minutes out. A cop whispered. Slick's phone lit up, his fingers tapping nervously. He's spooked. Lena texted. I walked over. Casual Glock, holstered Ricky Torres. His head snapped up, eyes wide. Coffee spilling. Wrong guy, he lied. Voice high, I flashed my badge low. Feds say otherwise. Storage units ours. Slick bolted chair clattering, but Lena blocked the door, her stance like a panther. Sit, she said, voice steel. Patrol cars screeched in lights flashing. Slick froze, hands up, leather jacket creaking. Just a job, he whined, as cuffs clicked. The bag hit the floor. Push sight. Miss Calloway's ring rolled out. Back at my ranch, Lena cataloged the hall, Slicksot singing names. A buyer in Philly, she said, laptop humming. Mrs. Calloway called, voice bright. My ring's back. I grinned. Oaks rustling. Delivered tomorrow. Miss Patel's kid needed that necklace too. But Slick's phone seized, showed texts. Blondie's crew's got a boss big player. My porch creaked gravel still. This scam wasn't three idiots. It was a network and my case file was growing. Blondie and Mustache's fake HOA scam. Tacky Polo's toy badges crashed hard on my porch, but their storage unit haul and Slick's cuffed whining proved this was no small con. I'm Daniel Carter, federal agent. My Willow Creek ranch, a no HOA oasis of gravel and oaks. Tosties. Miss Calloway's ring and Mrs. Patel's necklace were back, but Slick's phone texts hinted at a big player running the show. My kitchen table held a growing case file, Lena's laptop humming with leads. My oaks rustled outside Mrs. Calloway's wind chimes faint, but this scam's roots ran deep, and my badge was itching to dig. I've busted Ponzi schemes, but this crew's arrogance was a clown show with felonies. Slick's phone cracked, but Gold listed a Philly buyer and a cryptic boss meet Friday warehouse. Lena, my FBI partner, had traced the buyer's number to a shell company, Crest Compliance Solutions. Fake HOA front, she said, her SUV idling by my ranch. Warehouse is 30 miles out. Industrial park sketchy. My Glock was holstered. Mrs. Patel's wary eyes in my mind. Her kid's soccer ball still bounced in my memory. We hit it tonight, I said. Cuffs ready, the industrial park was a maze of rusted cranes and flickering sodium lights. The warehouse, a hulking box with Crest, in faded paint, Lena. Wiry tan slid from the SUV. Her flashlight cutting the dark security's lax cameras. Offline, she whispered, picking the side door's lock. Inside crates, towered stolen jewelry, cash bundles, TVs, even a saxophone. Mrs. Calloway's wind chimes could have been here. Millions, I muttered, oak leaves from my boots. Dusting the floor, Lena found a laptop. HOA 123 password intact. Idiots, she grinned, pulling up files. The screen lit up, victim lists. 50 homes, $200,000 stolen. Names hit hard. Mrs. Patel, Calloway, and a new one. Javier Morales. A mechanic whose tools were taken. A folder labeled. Boss held emails. Keep hitting Willow Creek soft targets. Shipped to Philly. Signed of Lena's eyes narrowed. V's the big player running. Blondie mustache slick. A shipping log listed a drop tomorrow. 10 p.m. at a truck stop. My jaw tightened. We crash it. We knocked on Javier's door. His bungalow, all oil-stained driveways, and kids' skateboards. Javier, stocky, medium brown skin, opened it face, wary wrench in hand. They said my garage was unsafe. Took my torque wrench set, he said, voice low. $3,000. My livelihood. His daughter clutching a doll peeked out. I showed him. Slick's photo. Recognize him. Javier nodded. He dropped this, a matchbook. Route 66, truck stop, tomorrow's drop site. We'll get it back, I promised, pocketing it. At the truck stop, neon buzzed oaks lining the lot. Lena scouted from her SUV, fake trucker hat low, while I leaned on a gas pump badge hidden. A black van rolled in, Crest Compliance, decaled. A woman V slid out, tall pale red hair in a tight bun. Navy coat, crisp. She scanned the lot, eyes sharp, handing a crate to a driver. My radio buzzed, patrol's 3 minutes out. Lena texted. She's V. Valerie Kane. Fraud rap sheet. I stepped up casual. Valerie Kane. Feds want a word. Her head whipped around, eyes like daggers. Wrong person, she snapped, but her hand twitched toward a pocket. My Glock was out low, don't. Warehouse is ours. Your crates too, she froze. Crate clattering. Javier's tools spilled. Patrol cars screeched in lights flashing. Valerie's lips curled, but cuffs clicked fast. "Just business," she hissed. Red bun slipping. Lena grinned, hauling crates. "Bad business." Back at my ranch, Javier's tools were tagged for return. Mrs. Calloway's chimes jingling next door. Lena's laptop pinged Valerie's emails, named a Philly kingpin. Mr. Finch, still free. "She's flipping on him," Lena said. Eyes bright, my porch creaked, gravel still. Blondie mustache. Slick and Valerie were down, but Finch was the head, and my badge wasn't done. Mrs. Patel's kid deserved a clean Willow Creek, and my case file was hungry. Blondie, Mustache, Slick, and Valerie Kane thought their fake HOA scam, cheap badges, tacky polos, could bleed Willow Creek dry. But they picked the wrong porch. I'm Daniel Carter, federal agent. My ranch, a no HOA haven of gravel and oaks. My Glock and badge cuffed their crew, reclaiming Mrs. Calloway's ring, Mrs. Patel's necklace, Javier's tools, Valerie's emails, led to Mr. Finch, the kingpin pulling their strings from Philly. My case file thick on my kitchen table, burned with his name. Lena's laptop traced him to a penthouse, and my oaks rustled as Mrs. Calloway's wind chimes sang victory. Finch's empire was crumbling, and my cuffs were ready for its crown. I've busted mob bosses. But Finch's scam was a masterclass in gall. Lena's dig on him. Victor Finch, slick fraudster, showed a rap sheet of cons across 5 states, Philly penthouse shell companies, 50 homes hit. She said her SUV parked by my ranch. He's meeting a buyer tonight. Port warehouse. My Glock was holstered, Javier's wrench set, gleaming in my mind, his daughter's doll, a quiet spur. "We end this," I said. Badge heavy, and Mrs. Patel's call echoed. My kid's safe now. Daniel Willow Creek deserved peace. The Philly port was a jungle of cranes and salt air. The warehouse a steel beast under moonlight. Lena wiry tan, scoped from a dock, her binoculars glinting. Finch's inside black suit. "Armed guards," she whispered. Radio low. I crouched by a crate. Oaks from my boots. Long gone. Inside. Finch, tall, pale silver hair, slicked, stood by stolen goods. Jewelry cache. A violin. His voice smooth as oil, pitched to a buyer in a trench coat. Willow Creek's soft $500,000 haul. My jaw tightened. Mrs. Calloway's chimes didn't deserve this. Lena hacked a security feed, her laptop, showing Finch's guards 2 bulky dark-skinned rifles slung patrols 5 minutes out. She texted. I slipped in, badge hidden, Glock low. Finch's laugh grated as he waved a stolen watch. "Ms. Patel's move it to Jersey," he told the buyer. I stepped from the shadows, voice ice. "Victor Finch, feds say, freeze!" His head snapped up, silver hair. Gleaming, blue eyes narrowing. "Wrong guy," he sneered, hand inching to a pocket. My Glock aimed steady. "Don't, your crew's done." Blondie, Valerie all singing. The buyer bolted crates toppling. Finch's guards raised rifles, but Lena's flashlight blinded one, her tackle dropping him. I ducked a swing, cuffing the second guard, his rifle clattering. Finch lunged for a crate, but my boot pinned it. Javier's tools spilled. "Game over," I said. Patrol cars roared in lights flooding the dock. Finch froze, suit, creased eyes, darting like a trapped fox. "Just business," he hissed as cuffs clicked. Lena grinned, hauling stolen goods. Bad business. Back at Willow Creek, the precinct buzzed. Mrs. Calloway clutched her ring, her dachshund, yapping. Javier, stocky medium brown, hugged his tools. His daughter beaming, Mrs. Patel, petite, olive-skinned, wore her necklace. Her son's soccer ball at her feet. Lena's laptop tallied. $1 million. Recovered. 60 victims. Finch's plea deal. Named no one. He took the fall. Court loomed, but Willow Creek was whole. My ranch's gravel crunched as I stood on the porch, oaks swaying. Some neighbors whispered, thought I'd stirred trouble. Tough imitika. Miss Patel's kid slept safe. The courtroom weeks later was stark. Finch, in orange silver hair, dull. The judge stern, pale glasses glinting. Red charges, fraud, theft, conspiracy. 15 years, he boomed. Finch's shoulders slumped, eyes blank. No smirk left blondie mustache. Slick, Valerie. Same fate. I leaned back. Badge light watching, cuffs click. Mrs. Calloway's chimes rang in my head. Javier's tools back in his garage. Willow Creek's oaks stood tall, its wild lawns free. My porch waited coffee cold, but the scam was ash. Y'all, that's the tale. Finch's con empire's dust. My ranch stands. Fake badges, fake cops, real idiots. Mrs. Calloway's ring. Patel's necklace, all home, smash that. Like, if you love seeing scammers crash, drop a comment. Faced a fake. HOA. Got a badge story. I'm all eyes. Share from Philly or Podunk. Let's make this spark fly. Subscribe. We're not done busting cons yet.